Hi, I'm here with Alice, who started her eponymous label with a goal to create quality clothing in small quantities. Feminine and quirky, her designs are inspired by vintage trends and local flora and fauna. Her focus on using secondhand, vintage and locally produced fabrics means her designs are not only handmade to outlast fast fashion cycles, but are also environmentally and socially sustainable. Each Alice Nightingale, sorry.
That's me.
Yay! Each Alice Nightingale design is one of only a handful and made to be worn each day. Does that feel weird, just sitting there while I read out?
A little bit. Yeah, sorry. I put it in immediately, didn't I?
No, it's great. I would feel the same, I'm sure. Thank you for being here with me today.
Oh, anytime. It's nice to get dressed up and almost see you in person.
Yeah, it's close. It's the best we're going to get at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. Other than a foot tap if I happen to see you in the valley outside your shop.
Maybe we'll keep that around after all of this.
Yeah.
A little foot tap.
Yeah, that sounds great. Have you got any plans to make colourful face masks?
Oh, one of my friends, actually one of my shop girls has been making them for us all. And
oh, great.
Through photos of like, what one do you want? And even my partner has one, a green floral one.
Very
nice, very manly.
Yeah. Sounds perfect. And so for you, why do you think fashion revolution matters in the current crisis? Big question.
It's funny. I feel like talking to a lot of other local makers right before this was all happening, and we were planning what we were going to do, and it felt weird having an event even before this, because we've had 5 years of events now, and it was starting to just get a little bit like, why are we celebrating, or it feels weird having fun in the time of crisis, but it also feels weird having fun at someone's expense. And I think this year we were already going to turn it a little bit and shift toward just focusing on the underpaid garment workers and textile workers, and make it just a little bit more focused on them. So I don't know, it's weird, but it's also kind of what probably needed to happen. We probably need to be a bit more online focused for this kind of event, because it's about education. That's all it is at the end of the day. It's about educating people where their clothes come from, who made them, who made the fabric, how are they getting paid, what is their working conditions like, what is their water supply like, so on and so forth.
Yeah. And do you feel like this crisis has really brought a lot of that to the forefront even more? Like people are...
Definitely, yeah. And I don't think that Fashion Revolution necessarily was the catalyst, but there has been a shift, definitely, toward eco. And even like, I think maybe we all said when H&M and when, all of the big stores opened in Brisbane, oh, well, this will be the end of us, of the boutique store. But I think if anything, it's gone the other way, because the saturation has made people go, oh my gosh, I've just gone out and I spent 5 minutes in the city and everyone's wearing the same thing as me. So from an aesthetic point of view, they want something a little bit different. And they're thinking about that mass production a little bit more, because they can see it. Every time they leave the house, they can see the mass production. So that's been another shift. So maybe Fashion Revolution is almost, it's the focus that we need for the catalyst that already came. And it's the focus of, okay, yeah, you can see 20 of the same top when you leave the house. Let's think about that a little more deeply, and let's think about the people behind that top.
Yeah. And when we could just pop in locally to someone making beautiful stuff handmade by you with pom-poms in your ears, it's way more fun.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like I've been pushing that the last 5 years, and I feel like I can have 1 week off pushing my stuff and we can have 1 week of focusing on everyone else. I feel like this year there's an element of not guilt, not that harsh, but there's an element of feeling a bit bad about pushing my wares when what we're really meant to be doing is focusing on the garment workers. I don't know. I'm sure you're not meant to do that when you're talking about your label and you're trying to get it out there, but I do think it's fair for 1 week. 1 week. What's 1 week of not pushing my stuff and actually focusing on who made my shoes, who made my, undies.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds beautiful.
It's different. It's different for someone who's just spent 11 years trying to get their label out there. I've definitely had a shift just before COVID, really, of thinking that it's not right anymore to turn it into, I mean, of course there is a community awareness of the event and all of our local makers in Brizzy, and it's great to see everyone doing it. But, people are still buying mass-produced things that they don't know where they're from. And I mean, a lot of it comes back down to education and mass media education. So it's really nice to see Peppermint really pushing this every year, because think of all the readership of Peppermint being able to very clearly see what's wrong with the world and how we fix it.
Thank you, Peppermint.
Yeah. Thanks for highlighting and also educating us.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, it's amazing to hear that community spirit of let's just talk about this and highlight what's going on around the world.
Yeah, and maybe take some of the shame out of it. Like, I was doing a market maybe 6 months ago, and I had a local councillor come up, and like a politician come up and say hi, and she said, "Hi, I'm so sorry, I'm wearing." That was their introduction, and I thought, that's sad. That's really sad that that's how people see ethical designers, that they have to come up and apologize. And I get it, like if I compliment someone's earrings, they go, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I say, "No, go on, tell me where they're from." Like, yeah, it's taking away some of the stigma and turning it into education. I think that's the only way we can, because there is a real shame around buying mass-produced things within this community, not outside of the community. But on a educational level, we can turn it a little less angry, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. There's always more we can do, isn't there? And there's always doing something is better than nothing, and celebrating rather than shaming sounds like a beautiful way to think of it.
Yeah, and a really great way of getting people involved is, especially now we're in quarantine and everyone's getting crafty at home, and I really hope that lasts after this ends, because it's nice to see people making, because immediately I know from teaching that when you do start to make something, especially sewing, you realise how so annoying it is. Like, when you're beginning, there's nothing you could hate more than sewing. And you realise how long it takes to make something, but you get that beautiful buzz at the end of making something where you're like, I made that myself, and then you look at your wardrobe and go, oh, someone out there made all of this. So that's a really good little introduction into the ethical community that hopefully we get a lot of people thinking about, especially with the masks. I mean, all of the people making masks, I wonder what they're thinking about the workers who normally make them.
Yeah. Well, your space where you are right now really inspires me to want to start making, so thanks.
One tidy corner. I can't move. I can't move the laptop any other way. No one's seeing the mess.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Alice.